Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of things happen. Now, we had Deku. We also had Deadpool. Now, sadly, Deku was pulled into a bit of a crossover event, where him and Deadpool had to fight the Chameleon. The Chameleon went after Deku in his public identity, and then it targeted him as Spider-Man. Deku has been attacked and put a bit more on high alert. He's paranoid about saving people now, and that is not good. Deku, he's worried the Chameleon will attack him at any point whenever he rests, at any point as Izuku, and at any point as Spider-Man. And Deadpool, yeah. He wanted to help Deku. So what did he do? He completely derailed the storyline and took it his own direction, and doing things his own way, because why the fuck not? Now, Deadpool, him and Deku travel to the year 2099 to find Miguel O'Harris, and Deku is still confused. Now they're in the future, and now they're looking for Spider-Man of this era? Yeah, not gonna lie, he doesn't understand why they're here. And right now, Deadpool, he has to do one simple thing. He taps on the fourth wall and asks, "Are y'all still here? Come on, did he end it? No, wait. There he is. Who are you talking to?" Shh. They're watching. Who's watching? The viewers. You don't want to spook them. They're like fish. Or, well, maybe not. Depends. We'll just be interesting and they'll watch us, okay? Are you in? Never mind. Okay. So, we're here to find Spider-Man? Yep. And how do we do that? I don't really know. I didn't think that far. Uh, hmm. Let's just call this plot convenience. Deadpool grabbing onto Deku's arm, before he's going to press onto his belt, and the two are going to teleport away. As they do teleport onto another building, and now Spider-Man, he is swinging through the air. Miguel O'Harris is swinging upwards, and right now he has a turn. Him going to actually land on the building and see... What the hell? Oh, there he is. That's convenient. Shh, it's called plot convenience. Don't question it. Deadpool, why are we here? Now, Miguel is going to do one thing. He tries to look into Deku's mind. And... Oh shit, he's Spider-Man. How is he here and alive? Okay, what about the other guy? And right now we do actually have in Deadpool's mind. Don't go in there. Now, Miguel is somewhat going to recoil, as he's going to somewhat shake a bit and shiver. And then he's going to actually look back over towards Deku, walking up and asking him, "So why is Spider-Man here, and how?" "You know who I am." "Of course I do. You were a great hero. But you're in the future. Your future, but my present. And you use some sort of device?" "How do you know that?" "I read your mind. You're an actual telepath." "Yep." Wait, hang on. So, how are you a telepath? I don't have that power. "I got it from my experiments. Listen, it's a long story, but I want to go over my backstory, and I can do that. You see, I don't even want to talk to you after what I saw in your head." "Right. Listen, I don't really know why we're here, but we need your help. And apparently we're here because a telepath would actually be really good." "So you need a telepath for what? I mean, why would Spider-Man need my help?" "Listen, I'm fighting the Chameleon. He's a guy who can disguise himself and hide in plain sight, literally. Like, make himself just invisible. I can't fight him alone. My spider sense keeps reacting to things, and I get paranoid. I've been attacked by him multiple times. and I almost attacked someone whenever I thought they were a chameleon. Right. So you want me to use my powers to read their mind and figure out what they're doing? That would actually be helpful, yeah. See, Spidey, aren't I a good friend? Is he actually your friend? Yeah, not gonna lie. I've barely known him, but this is actually really helpful, Wade. There's just one thing I'm trying to figure out, though. If you needed a telepath, why'd you come to the future? You know, I really didn't think about that, because I didn't know what the plan was. Spidey, come on! I mean, the fans are gonna love this! What is he talking about? I don't even know half the things he says half the time, okay? Just whatever he's doing, go along with it. I don't care anymore. Listen, it's a lot to explain. There was Venom, there was the Chameleon. I just got a lot going on right now. And fact is, I know Cindy's a little busy, so there's that. Hmm? Cindy? Uh, well, technically we're in the future, so I guess it doesn't matter. Cindy is Silk. Silk. Hmm. I think I remember records of her. Though, if you're from the past, I really shouldn't say anything. I would appreciate if you didn't. But, how do things. That might be a bit too dangerous to know. Um, okay. Wait, why don't we just get a telepath from our time then? I like Jean Grey, maybe? Or, Susan Storm? Shh. Shh. What are you doing? Shh. Don't worry about it. Wait, okay, listen. I don't have time for your randomness. We need to get back to my time then and figure this all out. All right. Miguel, any other powers you should know about aside from the spikes? Okay, so there's that. Anything else? Night vision. The future is weird. Trust me, you don't have to deal with half the shit I probably deal with. I have to fight aliens. And guess what? During Secret Invasion, he got to. Shut up, Wade. What's he talking about? I don't want to talk about it. It's a lot to explain, but listen, we can explain on my time. In my time, this is getting really confusing. Okay, just do a turning, pressing a button, and right now a portal is going to open, and Miguel's guys won't stare on. Interesting. Now, do does a turn. Him gonna walk inside as Miguel does actually follow into it. And right now there actually is Wade. Wade does it at least walk in as well. And currently Deku and Miguel, the two are falling from the sky. And Miguel actually is a bit more intrigued. Old New York. The way it looks. Ancient. A relic in his time. Different. Smaller. Definitely something neat to look at. And right now Deku and Miguel do to land onto a building. As there actually is Deadpool. Deadpool currently is falling from the sky. And Deku, he doesn't look up. As for now, whenever he does at least try and bring out his hand, going to shoot it up, there's where Miguel is actually going to grab onto his shoulder, telling him, he'll be fine. Are you sure? Positive. He's Deadpool, right? Yeah, he said his name was Deadpool, but his real name is Wade. Oh yeah, he'll be fine. Besides, let's get him to shut up for a few minutes. What are you talking about? Wade actually smashing onto the building. Him breaking his neck, and actually going to roll off. As Deku does actually watch. Him running over and going to throw out his hand, shooting a web as Wade is caught by his ankle. And right after his body is going to smash into the wall, Deku heard a loud crack. And as he does it turn back to Miguel. As there's a Miguel, he has to at least bring his hands up. What? I thought you said he'd be okay. He'll be in a few minutes. His healing factor will kick in. Wait, healing factor. How good is it? Because I'm pretty sure he might have just died. And I really don't want that on my conscience. I'm okay, Spidey. Oh, he's fine. Yeah. If you let him go, he might be quiet for a few more minutes. That was only a few seconds. Tempting, but The plan to get you here was his. Right. So listen, Miguel's going to bring his hands up and grab onto his mask, pulling it off, telling him, this is what his face looks like. So if the threat they're facing appears to be him, then it will use what it can, the knowledge it has. It doesn't know he has these. Him going to open his mouth. And Deku is just going to see the fangs. And Miguel is trying to express. The threat doesn't know anything about him. So they don't know his face, his identity, or even his name. So, how about this? Whenever they talk to each other, they just say Spider-Man. Or they just say 99 or current. How about that? They always switch to different names. They never repeat it. So, in case the chameleon takes on one of their appearances, they can't be tricked. If they say a name twice, it's the chameleon. Alright? Yeah, you're reminding me a lot of this other version of myself I met. You met another version of yourself. I did, yeah. And how was that? He was an assassin. Was he still Spider-Man? Funny enough, he was. Hmm. I might have to look into the multiverse. Maybe there might be a version of myself who figured out my problem. What do you mean? I can't really be myself anymore in my identity. It's a bit tricky, but I've managed as a lab rat, I guess. Anyways, so where's this threat we're talking about? Now, right now the chameleon, they are in hiding, and they want to go after Spider-Man. And Deku, yeah. Well, that's all happening. We do currently have Venom. Venom is trying to face off against Carnage, and Carnage is proving to be a very big threat. Venom had to retreat after getting his shit rocked the first time. However, now, Carnage is doing quite a bit and learning more about his own powers. Because Carnage, he has decided to make a bit more of a army, using pieces of the symbiote and attaching them to people, and giving Carnage multiple hosts and people who can dominate the wills of. Now, that does mean quite a bit. And Carnage, yeah. Carnage is definitely a lot more happy. He has endless power, boundless power. To him, he used to be a guy with a knife or a gun. Or he would just do a little more things by hand. But now, doing things by hand, he can crush steel. He can make weapons. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. And right now, this is amazing to him. Now, with that being said, we currently have Julia and Cindy, aka Silk and Spider-Girl. Or, well, I believe I don't remember her actual code name in the Ultimate Universe. I think she was the Black Widow in that universe. It's super weird what her name is. Anyways, we have Julia and Silk, who they try to face off against what they thought was Venom going on a rampage. However, what they discovered was Venom was the one trying to stop this rampage. The other symbiote, it's wreaking havoc on the city. And that is not good. Now, the two were very worried. They were somewhat confused. Fact was, however, if Venom is trying to stop a small army from forming of his own species or whatever that thing is, it's gotta be bad news if Venom is the good guy in the situation. And the two, they jumped in to make the one-on-one a 3v1. Now, right now while the trio is going to fight off against Carnage, we do actually have over with Deku and his trio. The idea is quite simple. Izuku Midoriya is going to go on a walk as Spider-Man. And right now, a lot of people do see Spider-Man. Him just somewhat walking the streets of New York. And it's sort of surprising. And another actually is the Chameleon. The Chameleon tried to at least track Spider-Man. But whenever it got Deku back to his apartment, it just, well, lost him. Not even at his own apartment. It tried to follow him to a building, and then he disappeared. They checked his apartment, and he wasn't even there. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Spider-Man just disappeared. And that was quite alarming. Now, the chameleon, though, they were quite happy to find that Deku, he popped right back up. And Deku, he currently was their main target. And we do currently have Spider-Man. Spider-Man, he's actually sit down next to a fountain. Him going to somewhat stretch and think. As if people are going to walk past, think that that might either be the real Spider-Man or some guy you take a picture with and just give him bucks. Now, currently Spider-Man just sat there. And the chameleon, they were watching. They wanted to see what he was going to do. And Deku, he actually went to go turn. Him looking at a guy selling hot dogs as he actually brought his hand up. The guy coming over as he's at least hand out one to Spider-Man. And Deku, he actually does do one thing. He does go to bring his hands up and go to shoot a web. And the moment he actually does do that, the guy actually does somewhat stare at this guy a bit more surprised. He's the actual freaking Spider-Man. And Deku, when the guy pulled out his phone, the guy took a picture. And he even showed the guy his web shooter. And the guy was actually kind of surprised. He was definitely intrigued. I mean, he lets the real Spider-Man have a free lunch. The guy saves the city, so this is the least he could do. Now, the chameleon stared on. They were wondering what he was doing, why he was acting so strange and weird. And that was with the chameleon, they shapeshifted, and is someone who looks familiar. And they decided to walk right up to Spider-Man. Now, with that, we do actually have Deku, who does want to sit there with his mask up eating a hot dog. And he actually is feeling a bit better from earlier. He remembers whenever he was shot by a tranq dart. And while that still is annoying and he still has a headache, he's at least happy that his food is helping him. And currently, while he does get someone sit there, there actually is a Chaco, who does come to walk up. Wow. Oh. Hi. You're the reporter, Miss Yaka, correct? I am, yes, but what exactly is Spider-Man doing in the park eating a hot dog? I can take breaks, can't I? I'm sure you could, but what are you doing? Not much, really. I, I've been put through the ringer today. That's really all. Deku feeling Spartans go off. And Deku is someone going to look up and around. Before looking back at Ochako. Something wrong? No. My earpiece went off. You have an earpiece? Yeah. It was just, the Avengers. You were part of the Avengers? Yeah. Do you mind if I put that in a story? Sure. Is this not the chameleon? That's odd. Now, Deku is going to get a message from Miguel informing him that is the chameleon. Attack and take down. And make sure to make it look good. Make sure the chameleon doesn't think he suspects them. Because he can come in right now, or he can at least try and remain a bit more in the shadows. See how this does work. And Deku, he does understand. And now Miguel just going to watch Deku stand up. I'm going to step forwards. The chameleon going to get ready. As Deku, he actually is tossing Dokito Chaco. Her bring her hands out and... crap. Right now the web grenade going to go off. And the chameleon is completely stuck there. Deku's staring forwards, rushing at them and grabbing them, throwing them down to the ground as if people are going to watch Spider-Man get rough with this civilian. Now, the windows are scream out, and Deku is going to yell at them. Reveal their real identity. Stop pretending to be people. And a few people do stare on. And their actions with the chameleon does get a shapeshift. It turning into an older woman. As right now, there actually was the real Ochako. Ochako heard that Spider-Man was in the park. And while she was a bit more surprised at how close he was to her, she decided to come running over to try and find him. And whenever she actually found him, he pinned an old lady to the ground by her throat. And he was acting crazy. Now, people were yelling and screaming at Spider-Man, and there were some who were confused. They thought he pinned down a reporter, not an old lady. And out of the chameleon, there actually is where people just start to rush at Spider-Man, some yelling at him and screaming at him. As Deku, he actually does pull the chameleon back up, and some people do go to yell at him, as Ochako should see Spider-Man and go to take a picture. And right now, fact is, public opinion is getting bad, worse. And Deku, he actually yelled at Chameleon, yelling at them to change. As the person, they don't do a thing. Now, there actually is Miguel, who he does come rushing in. And another Spider-Man is going to smash down to the ground and going to stand back up. People are going to stare at him. As... what? Now, Ochako is going to move forwards. Her running up to him, as Miguel is going to bring his hand up, pushing her out of the way and telling her, he doesn't have time for this. Him walking up, going to pull up the front of his mask and directly bite down into the Chameleon's shoulder. And people are surprised, as the Chameleon is going to feel their body tense up. And with all their muscles tensing, fact is, their muscles untensed for a second, and they shapeshifted back into their original form, them falling onto the ground and being that appearance of a woman. What did you do? So you finally show your face, Chameleon. Everyone looking on and confused. And right now there actually is Wade, who does him swing in on a rope, talking about it. What did he miss? Now, there actually is Deku, who is going to turn, as the reporter is going to turn to see Deadpool. Them actually going to take a photo of the three staying there with the captured villain. Now, Deku, he actually does look at the Chameleon, as he's going to walk over and bring his hand out. Him reaching down, as right now there actually Sparsen's going to go off. Miguel feeling Deku's mind tickle. As right now there is where he does actually going to leap backwards up into the air. And Deku does a turn, looking around, as there actually is the Hobgoblin. Now, the Hobgoblin does come rushing in. And right now, Deku, he actually see the Hobgoblin look a bit more surprised. Now, there actually is Miguel. Miguel and Deadpool do a few things. Right now, Miguel, he's going to bring his hands out. We're going to shoot out webs as Deadpool, he's going to bring out his guns. Him going to start firing up into the air. And Hobgoblin, yeah, he does get shot by the web shooters. However, there is where he does try to dodge the bullets from Deadpool. And Miguel is reading the Goblin's mind. And he's actually quite surprised at what he does find. As he is going to tell Deku their identities. And Deku is going to freeze. Him and Deku staring down at Asui Osborn. Now, Deku does at least tell her, you know, she really should consider not being a criminal. After what you did? Doubtful. Deku going to turn. And right now they're actually going to look up to see Harry Osborn flying around in the glider. He thought that those two, they were good people. He thought that they could be well-trusted friends. But no, they're not. And Deku, he does at least try to, well, take down Harry. Him and Miguel do go flying up in the air. And Osborn, against two Spider-Man, yeah, not very good. Now, right now the Hobgoblin and the Chameleon are taken down. And they're actually where Deadpool, he was staying there. Him actually somewhat going to have his Deadpool sense go off. Because he feels like there's a plot point missing. And right now we do actually cut over to Venom. Venom, he is very much on the brink. He tried to fight. He tried to stand together with both Julia and Silk. However, there was a problem. Julia is a female Deku, and Venom wants to bond back with its original host, its perfect host. And Carnage took over Julia. And that was definitely not good. Because that does mean a number of things. And Carnage, she attacked directly at Silk. And where Silk got taken over, there was where Venom, he turned and ran off. And right now there actually is back in Central Park, where Venom does come swinging in. Him smashing down to the ground, as right now there actually is Deku, who's going to turn and see, come on, him turning back. And now he has to yell at Venom, telling him just to leave him the hell alone today. Spider-Man, help me. What the hell? Now, both Deku and Miguel are confused. Miguel has dealt with Venom, but this guy doesn't look as deranged. Huh. Okay, this is weird. We do actually have Deadpool. Deadpool, he pulled out an RPG and tried to blast at Venom. However, Venom, he immediately dodged out of the way as actually threw out his hand. Him going to actually throw it backwards and grab onto the projectile. him actually gonna pull it back and hold it in the air, as the rocket is eventually gonna fizz out. And Deku's gonna turn back to Deadpool. Jesus, dude, where did you get that thing from? What? It's Venom! Okay, hold on. Deku gonna turn back to Venom. And Venom does go express. He needs help with this being when a loud scream is heard. And now Deku does actually turn his head and see, swinging down, two different people. They smash down and they're covered in the Carnage symbiote. And right now there actually is Julia, who does a scream Doki out as Deku does turn his head and see Cindy, his eyes widening, where Carnage finishes to smash Doki down and look back up, screaming out in anger, talking about how it's going to kill Venom. Now, there's a turn back to Venom. And Venom does start to express, turning around and looking at this threat, about how that would be Carnage. Now, Deku's gonna rush forwards, him running Doki up to Venom and asking, okay, so he needs a lot more to explain. Just, Venom gonna turn, bring out his hand and smacking Doki in the chest. However, he just puts his hand there and Venom gets to cover Deku. And Deku's quite alarmed, his suit turning black as... wow, he forgot how good this thing feels. It's quite simple, Spider-Man. What the hell? Deku turning back to Venom. And now Bakugo, he has to uncover his face, expressing, the symbiote's alive. That's its voice. Hello again, Izuku. Hi, Venom. It's been so long. That would be Carnage, my spawn. He is deranged, bonded to a serial killer. And I am sorry. I cannot handle this threat alone. He's bigger than the both of us, stronger than me, and stronger than you. And he's wreaking havoc. A symbiote army. Deku looking back directly towards Carnage. And right now a few things start to happen. Deku's focus is put solely on Carnage. And the fact that Cindy Moon, Spider-Girl, or Spider-Woman, I'm forgetting exactly what Julia's alias is. Anyways, who cares? Right now Deku, he has a stand there. Him and the Venom symbiote. And they're actually Venom's going to turn around. Him actually going to throw out two black globs directly at both Deadpool and directly at Miguel. And Miguel's quite alarmed. Him being covered by the symbiote, as there is actually Deadpool. Deadpool is going to bring his sword up and he cut the symbiote out of the air. As the symbiote is going to cover his sword, and Deadpool just does going to drop it. Him throwing it forwards and trying to at least express to Venom. Last time they did this, it didn't end well, so why not? Please stop. He's seen enough. Deku. Deku turning his head. And another actually is where Miguel does go express, rushing back forwards, talking about how him and Venom can handle Carnage, and him and Deadpool should handle the other two. Now, right now Deku does a turn back to Deadpool. And Deadpool, he's still trying to not be in one of the movies he watches at night. Now, only a few people might understand that, and only a few people might have to go over their heads. Anyways, let's move on very fast. Deadpool humor. Now, right now Carnage does get a rush in. And they're actually Cindy. Cindy does get a rush in for her boyfriend. And Deku, he actually does a rush forwards covered in Venom. It's been a long time since he's had this suit on. It's been years. And Deku, he feels like he's missed it. And Venom can feel this. Deku likes wearing the suit. However, he knows what it did to him last time. And he's afraid to be that way again. And Venom actually is a lot more surprised. It thought that Bakugo was imperfect. It thought that Deku was perfect. But the fact is, right now, Venom, it feels Deku's emotions again. It feels the way he is, the way he's changed over the years. Instead of the mental instability of Izuku after Toga and his father's death, instead of the more violent nature of Deku at the time, he's dealing with a more matured, focused Deku. He's dealing with, in the best way of saying it, a calmer Deku. And Venom, he's alarmed by this. However, there actually is Miguel. Miguel's a lot more serious, a lot more focused, and that does certainly say quite a bit. And right now Miguel, he had his abilities somewhat amped by the symbiote, and he felt good. He felt really fucking good in this thing. Now, there actually was Deadpool. Not much has changed. Now, currently Deku, he has to rush forwards, and Cindy, she actually started to throw out her hand using an axe. Her trying to actually swipe away at Deku's head, and Deku does a dodge. Him going to actually throw up his head throw up his hand and make a giant hammer, smashing Rookie into Cindy as they're actually so he does this and are flying. Hamlet's going to say, he's really sorry about this, and he knows that she's going to be really angry later. But honestly, wearing the symbiote again, god damn. I'm going to shoot his hands down, blasting out webs onto the ground before actually going to pull himself backwards. And Carnage is going to rush forwards. Deku actually going to pull in as Deku is going to send himself flying forwards, smash Rookie into Cindy, and the two do go smashing into a tree. Before they do actually go to roll onto the ground, and Deku is actually kicked upwards into the air. Him smashing into a lamppost as he's smashing down to a car. Him throwing his hands down and actually being able to elongate Venom to make sure he doesn't crush the car. Him actually going to throw out one of his hands and turn to the lamppost. Him grabbing onto it and going to pull himself up, swinging into the air. And now Deku does going to use tendrils instead of webs to move through the air. And Carnage does to go after Deku, doing the exact same thing. Now, there actually is the real Ochako. The real Ochako is quite surprised. And there actually was the Hobgoblin and the Chameleon, who in the chaos, they ran. Because this is not good. Now, Deku, yeah. Very clearly, he's having a bit of issues. And they're actually the real Ochako. The real Ochako, she is surprised. Carnage and Venom and Spiderman, her at least taking pictures. And making sure to catch what she can. She's right now watching as Venom and Carnage do to duke it out. Meanwhile, Miguel O'Harris, he actually is trying to figure out the best way to do a few things. He wanted to handle Carnage with Venom, but Miguel, he looked around with his telepathy and found out something quite simple. A small army is in New York, all covered in the symbiote. And that's bad. Very bad. So what did he do? He decided to go swing away. Right now he has a few things to do, a few ideas, and a few places to go. Hopefully the labs still exist. They're probably ancient relics right now, but hey, he'll try and solve the problem. Right now it's a 3v3, and there actually is Deadpool. Deadpool right now is being attacked by Julia, and Julia is trying to slash away at Deadpool as Deadpool just trying to use his swords. Him at least trying to be on the defensive and talk about it. Whenever he said chicks were crazy for him, this wasn't really what he meant. Now, right now Julia is going to cut directly through one of Deadpool's blades. And it's going to actually fly up into the air and fly down. As Deadpool hits to turn and jab the sword directly into her body. Her actually recoiling backwards and screaming out in pain. Before Deadpool is going to talk about that. That's carbonadium. Never leaves home without it. Him actually going to bring his hand up. Him actually trying to catch the sword as it's going to actually stab into the back of his hand. And Deadpool does actually going to look down at that. Looking at the writer, and actually going to pull the sword directly out. Before he actually is swung directly backwards into, well, let's just say a fountain. Smashing into it and breaking it, hurting his back and cracking the back of his skull. Deadpool going to fall into the water, as right now he does try to think about what to do. And right now Deadpool, he is going to reach into that magic satchel and grab onto something. Him pulling it out and holding it in his hand. As right now he is covered in water. Now, Juliet is going to rush forwards. Her right now actually going to leap directly onto Deadpool and grab him. And Deadpool, he has to do one thing. He brings his hand out into a spike. Him using Venom to actually lash upwards and smash directly into Carnage. As Deadpool, he has to tell Venom what to do. And Venom leaps from his body. It jumping out of the fountain as right now Deadpool does actually press a button. And the EMP in his hand goes off. Now, the electromagnetic burst completely covers both Deadpool and Carnage, along with Julia. And right now Julia, after Deadpool had Carnage in his hand, there was the fact that Carnage, it freaked out, and it did not like the shock it got. Now, it actually started to part ways from Julia, and Deadpool, he actually threw out his other hand, him actually going to, dislocate his arm and rip it from the joint, him grabbing on Julia and actually going to teleport away. As you know, Carnage just sat there. As a symbiote, it tried to retreat, going back to its main host, and Venom, yeah, it tried to look around. Right now, the other symbiote is there, and it does have a few ideas. It could try to attack that piece, but more importantly, it needs help. It needs somebody who can, it's actually going to look and send someone. And there actually is Ochako. Ochako is going to turn her head and see a piece. Right now, it's flying onto her hand, as right now she's going to hear the voice in her head. it trying to tell her what to do. Now, Ochako was quite alarmed, and there actually was with the symbiote, it tried to at least give her a few guidelines, a few things to do. But Ochako had the images flash in her mind, the early days, and then a face. She figured out who Spider-Man was, and it was shocking. Now, Venom tried to tell her what to do, and Venom told her quite simply, Izuku is a good host. However, they need all their help they can get. Now, follow his orders and he'll tell her what to do. And I know Venom tried to at least reach out and communicate with itself. And it did so. As Deku, he heard the voice in his head. As right now he actually is still swinging through the air and trying to get to a place he thinks can actually help. Now, right now Cindy is still chasing him. And Deku, he actually just won't spin back around and actually go to bring up his hand. Him going to make an organic crossbow and fire a piece of venom directly out in that Carnage. And Carnage just actually going to bring its hand out. As right now a tendril does a shoot out and actually wrap itself around Venom. Venom going to actually ring its way around and try and make its way into the symbiote. Try and overpower it from the inside. However, Carnage destroyed that piece of venom and absorbed it. And Deku, he actually went to go throw his hand back outwards. Him swinging backwards as Venom tried to take care of that. And Deku, he just started to try and focus on being the gunner. And the best way of saying it, Venom's the driver right now. And Deku, he's just along for the ride. Him actually going to get up into the air and get ready. Telling Venom about the plan. And Venom doesn't understand. Right now, Deku going to actually send 2 web blasts directly between 2 different buildings. And the grenades do start to explode. And as they do explode, Carnage flies directly into the web grenades. As Deku does shoot out EMPs. Now, Deku shoots out his taser webs. However, Carnage is covered by them. The actual Deku, he actually starts to throw his hands outwards. Him going to shoot organic webs and get pulled backwards by Venom. Him actually launching forwards and smash directly into Cindy. As right now, Deku and Cindy, they do rolling into the air. And Deku, he does actually go to fall. Him telling Venom what to do. Cindy being attached to the symbiote, as right now Cindy does start regaining consciousness. And Deku, he actually just want to push her upwards into the air and away. As he actually does a turn and right now smash down onto the ground. Him feeling the pain in his shoulder. Now, Cindy is covered in the symbiote. And as she does a turn, she does see the symbiote up in the air. And she does have a few ideas. As the symbiote, it starts to make its way down and onto the ground. It trying to search for a new host. Since returning to the main body isn't an option this far away. However, Deku, he did one simple thing. He turned and actually smashed his fist directly into an engine. Him going to pull it up as Deku, he did one thing. He actually went to go search for the gas line. Him going under the car and looking. Seeing it and actually going to turn around to the back. Him throwing his fist out, smashing into it, and actually going to punch into it. As Deku, he does the same for some of the other cars. And Carnage thought about Deku. Deku was a good host, Venom's original, and that was Deku's intention. And over Deku, he sat there on a street lamp. There actually was Carnage. Carnage, it does not have a sense of smell, I believe. Or, technically, it's one giant sensory organ, I believe. Anyways, I think everyone somewhat knows what I mean. Now, Carnage's main priority, other than the insanity going through its head from its host, was Deku. And the fact was, it can outdo its father by taking its original host, its chosen host. Now, Deku does somewhat sit there. And right now Cindy and Venom, the two are trying to talk, converse. Meanwhile, there actually is back over the real Venom and the real Carnage, the two main hosts, where right now the armies are fighting and clashing. And Venom, he actually is trying to outpower this guy, trying to outdo whatever he can. And that does say quite a bit. Currently do have Ochako. Ochako comes rushing in, her a bit more surprised at her own speed and strength. Her actually want to actually clock Venom directly across the face and catch him off guard. As right now, Venom is having a chance to back off. It is actually going to go turn and look at She-Venom. As right now Ochako does look to get Bakugo. Her going to nod, as right now Bakugo, he doesn't even question it. He thinks that that might be Julia or Cindy. And he is going to focus back directly on the fight. As we do actually have over with Miguel O'Harris. Now, Miguel found Miguel found the nearest equipment he could. He found a lab and decided to try and use what he can from it. And the best way of saying it, he broke into it, told them what's going on, and told them about how he's Spider-Man. And there's currently a symbiote army. So, he needs that in a speaker. And that made things quite simple. Miguel started to work, him trying to be fast. And Deku, we currently do have over with him. Where whenever Carnage tried to attack him, Deku was able to somewhat web it up, and Carnage went falling to the ground. As Deku, he brought his hand down and smashed Ricky onto the streetlight, him actually leaping up into the air and pulling himself up high. As the sparks, they flew. And the city block, yeah. All those cars were a chain reaction. All the gas on the road, whenever it sparked, boom, right out an entire blaze. And that alerted S.H.I.E.L.D. to what was happening. They were already trying to send agents in. However, they were worried about whether or not field agents would be compromised. Because this is basically like a virus. You go in, you come out as one of them. And that was worrying. However, they do try to deploy automated robots. And S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah. They show that they're still around. However, they are just lurking in the backgrounds. And with that being said, right now the automated robots, they do come in. Them at least trying to blast out flames and deal with the commotion. And whenever Miguel is going to come in, he actually tries to help. Him using sound grenades to try and deal with the strays. And people, he does try to pull them free from Venom. Or Carnage, I mean. As whenever that is all said and done, there actually is back over with Deku, who does a swing with Cindy away. And Cindy does talk about it. Her wearing the symbiote. It's definitely a weird feeling. I know, right? It's real fun, too. Trust me, though, it gets addicting. Deku gonna shoot out a web. And here's Cindy talk about it. She feels like her movements are all calculated. I mean, her thoughts. She doesn't even feel her muscles moving. They just automatically respond. It's like her body's one giant brain. Or her nervous system just knows what she wants to do. And Deku does express, yeah, right? It's good, but trust me, wearing it for too long changes you. Well, it did, but he thinks that it may have gotten better now. And Deku does at least say that out loud. And Venom does let to hear about that. He somewhat enjoyed this team up. He liked it. And we do currently have over S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D., they brought in their agents. S.H.I.E.L.D. brought in their robots. And they started to release blast Rookie into and attack Carnage. Since Julia and Deadpool are somewhere, Miguel is dealing with that, and yeah, okay, so we just have Carnage now. And Carnage is surprised. Right now, whenever S.H.I.E.L.D. has come in, they blast Rookie at both Venom and Carnage with fire. And right now, the two, they both somewhat reel back in pain, screaming. However, Deku does come in. Him actually going to look at the robot and throw his head up. Him shooting out a web and actually going to pull to the right. As right now, the flamethrower is going to Rookie shoot onto Carnage. And Carnage is screaming out. As Deku, he is trying to hold the robot back. And Cindy is actually going to grab at the web, her helping Deku pull. And there is Carnage. Carnage is stuck there. As there is whenever Deku, he does still hold onto the flamethrower. And Deku, while he's doing that, there actually is Bakugo. He is going to turn and shoot at a web, him pulling Rookie down onto the robot. It flying down and smashing onto the ground. And Bakugo, he does have an idea. Carnage is stronger than him, faster than him, and more tough. He's made that quite apparent. Bakugo does go rushing over, him smashing Venom Rookie down into the robot, and thinking, it might be time for a bit of an upgrade. As Venom does start to pull equipment out of the robot. And now Venom is going to turn. His hand, a giant flamethrower. For we're actually going to rush at Carnage and blast at him with it. Now, there actually is Ochako, who, she's going to turn and look directly at Spider-Man. And Deku, he actually is going to turn and look at her. Surprised. And Deku, he is actually going to turn to Cindy. And he's going to bring his hand out and asking for the symbiote back. And Cindy's someone who's going to turn looking at Deku. Her going to actually have her face get a bit more exposed. Her going to wink at him before he's going to have it close back up. And Deku is going to somewhat think. So that's a no. Now, we do currently have Deadpool. Deadpool, he does come back into the battle. And they're actually ready to smash down onto a giant speaker. It smashing down hard. For Deadpool decided to bring his hand out and strum a. Deadpool does to throw his hand down and strum into a guitar, it creating a giant loud sound. Now, Carnage is being overwhelmed. The flames and the fact that it's outnumbered. And Venom is successfully being able to destroy it. And their actions with Carnage is a bit more exposed. And you can actually see the person underneath. The deranged smile. The lunatic. And Deku, he actually had to throw out his hand and shoot a web directly at the guy. Him webbing up his face and nose. And right now, as Carnage does try to keep its host sustained on oxygen through its systems, I know Venom can do this, if I remember correctly. Venom has the way to, if someone's face is covered, it can still give them oxygen or feed them it directly to the body or brain. Sorry, I'm just a huge fucking nerd. Anyways, now, Carnage is still trying to keep going. Venom keeps blasting away at Carnage. It wants to make sure to destroy all of it. Make sure that Carnage is no more. And there is the fact that Carnage, it does try to run from its host whenever Deku, he saw an opportunity. Whenever Carnage was freaking out because of the sound and fire, he pulled the host out, and the guy got sent flying and smashing onto the ground. And Carnage was burned away. Now, as that was done, we do actually have Deku, who turns and looks directly back at Venom. And Venom does actually drop the weapon in its hand, as he does actually start to look around. And he does it to focus. As the symbiote does start to merge back into one, Ochako being uncovered, and Cindy having the symbiote fall from her body, as if it was just water. And there is actually Deadpool. Deadpool, yeah. He actually was quite happy. However, whenever he actually looked up, he stopped strumming his guitar. Him going to pull it free from the amp, as he's someone just going to sit there. Him is going to look on, and wondering what's going to happen. And Deku, he saw She-Venom. He saw her fall to the ground. And right now she fell unconscious, as Ochako, him rushing over and picking her up. Him going to turn and look around. And right now Carnage, he does lay there on the ground. Or should I say, Kirishima. Now, yeah, I feel like someone would probably expect that grand reveal, since I'm just using MHA characters now. Now, Deku, he looked over towards the host of Carnage. And that actually was Bakugo. Bakugo walked directly over to him. And he was ready to take the man in. And Deku just somewhat watched on. Before Bakugo, he turned to look at Deku. And Deku saw the new equipment. His outfit somewhat changed. It's not big or bulky anymore. It looks more like a suit. And he somewhat does look at Venom. Before Bakugo just gonna uncover his head. And tell the webhead. You know, that actually was a bit fun. Right. So what are you going to do now? Deku's staring directly at Venom. And right now Bakugo, he was going to stare at Deku, before he's going to turn and walk away. And Deku is just going to watch on. Okay, so now what? Miguel swinging back in, and going to land, expressing. Okay, yeah, so he's going to say this and he hope it doesn't sound weird, especially since he's a time traveler now. But, a bunch of robots helped them fry an alien, so there's that. That's the least weird sentence I've heard today. Fair enough. So what now? Deadpool walking in and expressing. Are they going to go on an adventure, a beach trip, maybe Deadpool being teleported away? And right now Bakugo, he heard that, turning his head and looking back. As Deku and Miguel someone do a turn and look at each other. As Deku, he actually asked Miguel, so, thanks for the help. Right. It was interesting being back here in New York, as it was before everything. Before everything? I can't tell you about that. Listen, I don't know if our Earths are in a linear fashion, and my Earth is just yours at a different point in time or whatever. I'm trying my best to keep information secret. You got that? I got it. Then again, surprise Spider-Man still exists back then. Or, not back then, but you know what I meant. Huh, right. I got it. Though, nice to see you, Izuku. Miguel is going to turn and ask if he can open the portal now, since he does want to go home. And Deku, he actually reached down onto his wrist and press the button. As Miguel, he has to walk through the portal. And Deku is quite happy about all that. Wade's gone, thank God, and Miguel got returned to his own time. And Deku, whenever Chakra is somewhat going to get back to consciousness, she is somewhat surprised. As she's dizzy, she feels her head throbbing and she does somewhat look up. Her looking at the guy who, Spider-Man. Now, Ochako is going to stare at Spider-Man, her face turning a bit red, as Deku, he is carrying her bridal style. Now, Ochako is going to stare on. Her trying to ask questions to Deku to try to tell her. She's very disoriented, and she may have been injured. So just please try and stay calm and be careful with speech. I mean, he's not saying he doesn't want her to talk, but he's saying that she needs to be slow. I mean, there could be damage, and I just what happened? It's a lot to explain. Listen, Ochako Uraka, you know who I am? I've read your articles, yes. Listen, it's a lot to explain, but you became the host for a symbiote, Venom. Venom? But Venom is a villain. No, Venom is an alien connected to a man, and you got to wear it. I'm sorry, an alien? Wait, I wore. How does one wear an alien? It's a symbiote. It's basically alien goo that's alive. I have multiple questions. I'm sure you do. You don't get motion sickness, do you? No, why? Wait a minute. Her actually gonna watch Deku bring out both of his hands, and she does so won't stay stuck directly to his body. Deku gonna shoot out his webs and fling both of them up into the air. And Ochako does go to someone's scream. Her actually gonna throw her hands out and grab directly onto Deku by his, well, wrapping her arms around his body. Now, Deku does swing her to a hospital, and Ochako, she has a lot go through her mind. It's definitely amazing swinging through the air. He sees this every day. And it's fast, it's thrilling, it's almost like zip lining or bungee jumping. I mean, it's awesome. And Ochako does somewhat have a bit of a thrill. And there's ridiculous to drop her off at a hospital. But Ochako does finally have her memories fully come back. Fully have the motions, or not motions, have her mind clear. She remembers everything. And they're actually the images she has in her mind. It's of Izuku. Him standing there and staring at the symbiote. As he does get to actually put the suit on, and the image on his chest is that of Spider-Man's logo. Him actually going to have his head get covered with a symbiote, as Deku is going to turn, and leap out of his own window. Now, Ochako's quite alarmed by this. She knows Spider-Man's secret identity. She doesn't have concrete proof, but no. That's just weird. I mean, Spider-Man is a big-time superhero, and Izuku Midoriya, he's a scientific consultant. He's no superhero. There's no way this. Her mind is just fried. Right now, that being on her head. As the doctors, they try to treat her and see whether or not she may be okay or not. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And sorry if I was a bit more leaping over my own words or swallowing my own tongue. I got a bit more excited, and I really wanted to try and amp up the fight scenes to make them a bit more fast and intense, but I feel like I was just swallowing my tongue on them. Anyway, guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.